everyone? Back again for another live stream tonight. And I'm actually going to do something a little bit different here because I came across a new game that I think fits perfect with the nomad lifestyle and all of my subscribers. So I'm just going to give it a minute here. Um, let's see if anybody else joins our live stream and we'll get right into it. So, while I go about playing this nomadic game here, I am going to be talking about my intense training that I did last Friday. And it was regarding emergency situation and active shooter training. The state police basically came in and they were training us and giving us tips, and they did shoot blanks in the hallways so we could learn how a gun would sound and certain factors like that. So we're going to talk about that training, and we're going to talk about some safety tips that I learned from the training, as well as some safety tips that I personally used when traveling on the road, especially when I didn't have Rocky. So let's just give it a minute here. If anyone is in chat, if you could please leave a like or a comment or something so I know somebody's there. I'm not sure. I am currently streaming on both of my Facebook pages and my YouTube channel, but I cannot see if anyone is watching off of Facebook. For some reason, this setup does not allow me to see that. So okay, I'll give it another 30 seconds here. We'll be 3 minutes in and we'll just get started, whether anyone's here or not. Okay, so let's jump right in here. So starting off, as you can see, I currently don't have a camera for Rocky yet, but I am working on that. Isn't that right, buddy? We are working on trying to get a camera for him. The downfall is the camera I bought was a really bad quality. It was pretty blurry and fuzzy, and I just don't want to use that for live streams, especially for his camera. So I'm going to go ahead and get a better camera for him. And through StreamYard, you have to pay for the most expensive membership just to have two cameras. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to try to do is I can have guests on here. I'm going to create a second account specifically for Rocky, and I'll hook up the camera to my laptop and I'll invite Rocky, his account, on as a guest, and that way you would be able to see me and the dog and if I'm sharing anything on my screen or not. So, as I mentioned, this live stream is going to be about the training that I had on Friday with the state police coming in. And I'm also going to be playing this game alongside here. This game is called Road 96. And I'm just going to read the description here for you guys. And I might stumble some of these words, they get me. But just tell me this is not like perfect for me and our community here. Road 96 is a crazy, beautiful road trip. The discovery of exciting places and unusual people on your own personal journey to freedom. There's moments of action, exploration, contemplative melancholy, human encounters, and wacky situations, all set against a backdrop of authoritarian rule and oppression. Sounds like a pretty good game. Sounds like something that's right up my alley and fits with the nomad lifestyle. So during this game, it sounds like we're going to have to make different choices, and our choices will lead to a different ending. There's three different endings. I have no idea what happens in each one. I'm not really sure what the main story of the game is besides traveling. So I'm going to see if there is anyone in the chat here. or anyone that does join, feel free to help me pick these choices as we walk through this game. And let's get this game going, and I'll talk about my training. So, since no one is in chat right now, when I travel, I usually travel by myself. I don't think so. Okay, so I'm actually going to take a moment because that is part of the safety tips and training that I wanted to share with you guys. I am more spontaneous when I'm on the road because, oh boy, now we're getting political here. That's never a good thing. Um, I'm, I was trying to pause the game. I just don't want it to skip ahead. But when I first left to go out to Arizona, I had every single spot from gas to lunch to dinner where I was sleeping, every single spot picked out. And I quickly learned that planning and organizing the trips like that, it just never happens. So when you're traveling, especially by yourself, one of the best things you can do is keep a loose idea of where you're going to be traveling. But with that, you should do some research because on a map, point A and point B might not seem too far when really they are drastically far apart. When I went through Texas and into New Mexico on Interstate 40, I believe, I went through and I was assuming like I got 400 miles. I'm going to be able to find diesel. I'll wait. That entire stretch, it got dark. It was late. It was nighttime. I couldn't find diesel. I was running out of diesel. And for those of you who have my book or have read my book, I kind of talk about this how I was panicking and thinking I'm not going to make it, I'm not going to make it, I'm not going to make it. And sure enough, I ended up rolling into a gas station that had diesel at the last possible second running on fumes. So you don't want that situation. You don't want to break down on the side of the road at night by yourself. But when you also have, I'm going to go here, 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 you can't really, things happen when you're on the road. And you might want to go see something different, or maybe the road's closed, or maybe there's an accident. And you just got to adjust. That is one of the best things I think about the nomad lifestyle is being able to readjust and just go with the flow of everything. So again, I'm not seeing any comments in my chat here. So if I was kind of against my country and how it was being ran and all that kind of stuff, I'm not going to get too political here, but I would probably, uh, God, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I'd probably do a little bit of everything because if you don't vote, which today is was voting day up until 10 minutes ago, so if you don't vote, you can't really say much because you're not voting regardless of what you believe with that system. And rebel as much as I can, well, there's a line. Um will I protest? Will I do stuff like that? Absolutely, and I have in the past with certain topics. But I'm not going to just rebel as much as I can and cause complete problems with every little thing. You got to be able to choose what fights you want to fight. And just going with the nomad style here, I'm going to click consider living abroad as many, many, many years from now, when I'm done traveling this country and Rocky is no longer with me, I would like to live somewhere in Europe and start the nomad lifestyle over there. It's a good question. When I watch a movie, Learn and Discover, I would feel, is more of a documentary. I don't do that often. I feel like YouTube is kind of my documentaries, which I do. I watch YouTubes obviously, but not a movie. Um, Escape reality. That that might be the best choice for me here. I really think that is. It's always cool for me, regardless of my location, to go to a movie theater, sit down, and for that hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever, you're just sitting there and nothing else matters. It's just you and the movie, and you forget about everything else. So I'm gonna click on that escape reality. So uh, talking about stuff like this, experiencing fear, I want to bring it back to my training on Friday. One of the things we learned in a high stressful situation is that your motor skills go out the window. So you really want to be able to create some kind of routine, but also create a routine in your head where, and this goes for anywhere, whether you are on a college campus or if you're at a Walmart or if you're camping at BLM land, whatever, if you're camping at a Walmart, everywhere. You could use this everywhere. You don't want to be paranoid, but you want to be prepared. So that was one thing I already did a lot on the road, and it was because of my training at Walmart. But they talked about that where if somebody came in right now and there was an attack or whatever, because lots of people say guns, but it could be something else. Regardless, if there was an attacker and they came in right now, what would you do? And when you're on the road, you definitely got to be aware because while there is some amazing people out there, there's also going to be people that aren't so amazing to say the least. So it's very, very important instead of constantly sitting and like texting on your phone and being deep into your phone. It's very, very important to just kind of be aware of your surroundings and just have some kind of backup plan. So that way, if something does happen, like they said, actually, talking about a movie, they specifically mentioned a movie theater. When you sit in a movie theater, you have your main entrance behind you, but you also have two exits, emergency exits in front of you. Now, when something happens at a theater, the attacker usually comes from the main entrance behind you. An instinct most of the time for people is to just instinctively get up and run to the main exit where the attacker is. Logically, right now, as we're calm, that doesn't make sense, and we're willing to admit that and know that. But when you're experiencing fear and when it's a very high stressful situation, everything just kind of goes blank on you. It's a fight or flight response, and you actually have a tendency, us humans have a tendency to lower things. So if it is a gunshot, for example, when I was working at Walmart once, there was a gun that went off in the store. Many people thought it was somebody just dropping a pally. So it's like you try to normalize it because that fear just plays tricks on us. So for my second answer, escape reality, I'm gonna pick my second answer. I love a good mystery, but I don't often watch mystery movies. I don't. I very rarely watch horror movies. I do love thrillers though. Like yeah, just action thrillers, stuff like that. Taken, for example, those type of movies. True crime. I do love true crime, but they don't really have a lot of movies on true crime. Learn and discover, like I said, that's usually YouTube for me. I don't watch a lot of comedy, so I'm just gonna say feel something because regardless of my mood, I'll want to watch a comedy, sometimes a romance. I'm always down for a good action movie. That's just my favorite genre for movies. So I'm gonna pick that. When inspecting an object, look at it from all angles. Maybe you can discover some secrets. Okay, let's start the game. Hmm. 1,699 miles to the border. Press the up key to run. Okay. I don't want to just start talking here and then have the game pop up. So, okay, so another situation to something I had within the bus because we do deal with solar panels, a lot of electricity, and you want to make sure that everything's hooked up correctly. But just in case, I think it's always good to have one of those small fire extinguishers with you when you're traveling because not only can it be used as a fire, my stuff's cutting out on me. There we go. Okay. So, not only can it be used for a fire, but it also can be used as a weapon. So, dogs and people, when you spray a fire extinguisher at them, it feels like glass in your eyes and it literally takes your breath away. So, what you can do is you could spray. And then even when you run out, those fire extinguishers are heavy and you could hit them and use it as a weapon still. And fire extinguishers are practically everywhere. So even if you are, say, in a store or something and something happens, that is just something to kind of think about, as that is pretty flexible. But another technique I used to use, and I don't have my keys with me right now, so I'll just use a USB for sake of example here. When I traveled on the road, and they talked about this Friday, you should take your keys and kind of hold it in between your index finger and your middle finger here, because if anyone does anything, then that's gonna hurt. Or hitting them in the eye and twisting, as much as that's gonna make you squirm. Just think about that. Putting it in their eye, twisting the key. It might make you squirm. It's gonna make them freaking scream. That's gonna be so painful to the neck, whatever. Using your keys, that is a very easy tool. And as nomads, you obviously don't want to leave your keys in your vehicle and or lock them in your vehicle. So it's kind of something that we always have when we're out on hikes and everything. So being able to carry your keys and just hold them like this in between your index finger and your middle finger, that is a safety tip that I do on the road, and one that the state police were really pushing this Friday. So let's get started here. Oh, reminds me of Arizona. Okay. Hold shift to run? Yeah, it's shift. Okay. It reminds me of Arizona. This is actually getting me really excited for my Vegas trip here. Oh, there's a person up here. See what's going on here. And normally I would not freaking advise walking up to a stranger in the middle of the desert like this. Oh, I didn't want to click on that. Yeah, I can tell. So, another safety tip. He's drunk. Okay, so another topic I do want to touch on here. Let me okay, I'm having some difficulties here. I have to pull up my notes. I apologize. I had some notes because I knew I was going to forget some things. So let me just pull this back up here. Okay. So obviously, one of the biggest things we can do as a nomad too is know your vehicle. Really, really know. So like when I broke it down with the bus in New Mexico, I thought the fuel filter was probably part of the problem, and I had no idea where the fuel filter was. I kind of rushed getting onto the road, and as a result, when I was breaking down over and over and over again, I couldn't find the fuel filter. I hit my head off the metal bumper a couple times and I'm getting really frustrated. So, really know your vehicle and know where things are located and just know the basics, how to change a tire, stuff like that. Because if you're traveling, especially alone, um, that could potentially save your life. You just really never know. And that's kind of why I like this game as well. Because um, even the smallest of choices could have big impacts. And one of the safety procedures that I personally use, um, since I have like family that is also on the road and whatnot, I do share my location. Now, there is an app for that. I can't remember what the app is off the top of my head personally. Um, I don't use it though. I know it's a pretty big one, pretty popular app. I don't use it to share my location. Instead, what I do is I use Google Maps. It's a lot easier for me to use Google Maps and it's easier to keep it live. I just share it once and my location is always being shared on Google Maps and it's only shared to the one person I shared it with. So that way if anything ever does happen where like the vehicle breaks down, for example, people know exactly where you are. They could watch when you're traveling and stuff. And talking about Google Maps too, before I move forward with this game here, one of the features I really love about Google Maps is even like just heading down to Arizona for the second time. I practically knew where I was going. I didn't really need to use the maps. I didn't really look at it. I was just going off the signs and the interstates and my knowledge of all of that, which is also something very good to know. But I still pull it up and I have it on my phone because a lot of people use it for speed traps. But I've also had it where there's a tire on the road and it'll pop up and it'll tell you that. Or there was a bad accident and it'll tell you that and how long the delay is going to be. So you could prepare for that. You can um, even, in some situations, you could get off that road and get onto a different one so you miss where the accident happened altogether. Another option too, when you are traveling with a second person, if there is an accident and it pops up on Google Maps, you can make sure that you and the person you're traveling with, by watching the shared location, seeing that you both made it through the um, accident, the wreckage. I didn't mean to click on that. His swaying's making me click on different things. Oh my god, for a drunk guy, he can run pretty fast. Oh, I don't think I'm gonna beat him. Oh, I might. I might. No, I'm not gonna beat him. He got a head start. He got a head start. No fair. Oh, I won. Those views. Reminds me of Arizona. Oops. I vandalized the poster. And it said I have consequences. This isn't gonna be good. Oh, okay. Oh, here I am thinking I'm doing so great, and I forgot he's actually drunk. Okay, my internet seems to be cutting out on us again. Yeah, it's not easy to go for Lyft. Pulling up my notes here. Okay, yes, that is another very, very good Okay, so my internet just keeps cutting in and out. Obviously, I don't know if you guys can hear me right now. It shows that I only have one bar. I don't know why my internet's so bad. I'm going to do a quick speed test and see what happens. Yeah, my internet is, you guys can even see or hear me right now. Yeah, this is horrible. Why is my internet so bad right now? That's horrible. Horrible download speed. Upload speed doesn't seem too bad, which is what the stream's running off of, and your internet connection is slow. Should be able to handle one device at a time streaming a video. Yeah, so I'm guessing people are also probably watching stuff because I'm using the college internet. I don't have my own personal, so probably too many devices streaming at once here. It seems like it went away now, so we'll keep going, but um another thing is those sounds, hearing those gunshots. It is very, I don't want to say distinctive, like a gunshot's a gunshot, yeah, but as I was mentioning, we tend to downplay it like, oh, it was a pallet that fell, stuff like that. And it's definitely, again, being aware of your situations, like how are other people acting, and if you just don't feel safe, one of the methods and one, okay, so I am just going to stop sharing my screen here, and we're just going to call it. I've been streaming for about 35 minutes now. My internet connection's not really working. um no one seems to be in this chat, so I'm just going to end it because of the bad connection. And those are some of the safety tips that I learned on Friday, though, and those are some of the safety tips that I personally use while on the road. um, so hopefully I will have better connection next week. I am working on a really exciting video. I wanted to say good, but I guess it's up to me to, I'm going to be biased. um, Based off my book, Discomfort, the Key to Your Best Life, and my travels, just an autobiography type deal. I'm going to create a documentary. I'm kind of working on that right now. It's not going to be very long. It might be like not movie wise documentary, but it might be like a 20-minute documentary. And it's just going to be about my travels and talk about some of the stuff that I also talk about in my book. And I'm just really, really excited to share that with you guys. So stay tuned. And next week, I'm going to talk about my Vegas vacation that's coming up here at the end of the month. So big things, big, big, big things with that. And I'm really, really excited to get back out there. So I'm going to go ahead and end this stream now, guys, and I will see you all on the next adventure.